Welcome to Wasp3D Designer. In this tutorial, we'll explore how to work with PBR textures inside Wasp3D. We are going to use some textures that are already available on a free PBR website. This one, and another one that I have already downloaded. Through this, you'll understand how we use PBR textures in Wasp3D. These textures are 2K resolution, but I would recommend using smaller sizes since loading time also depends on texture resolution. I'll begin with the Ornate Brass texture. I'll import all the maps and apply them to a sphere, since that gives us a good comparative view. I'll also scale the sphere a little larger. First comes the Albedo texture, which I'll apply to the diffuse layer. Next is Ambient Occlusion, which I'll apply to the second layer and set to multiply. This instantly adds depth to the surface. Then I'll bring in the normal map, which creates bumps and surface definition. To enhance reflections, I'll also bring in a DDS file. This DDS texture will be used as an environment map, which provides environment lighting for the entire scene. So, I'll apply it as an environment map in background. Instantly, the object starts taking reflections from this environment. Since this is an environment map, it influences the entire scene. If I add more objects with different materials, you'll notice how all of them automatically pick up reflections and light from the environment. This is image-based lighting, meaning the textures themselves receive both light and reflection from the background. To demonstrate, if I switch the background texture, you can see the reflections changing accordingly. This gives the material a natural sense of design detail. In this particular example, the environment reflection adds a golden yellow tone to the brass, which fits the look. Now, let's increase the tiling of these textures. As I scale the three textures proportionately, you'll notice how the reflections bend according to the normal map. I'll add the same reflection material to the sphere, so we get both local reflections from the object and environment reflections from the scene. By pressing L, we get the local reflection for this particular object. So, we can toggle between local reflections and environment reflections, and you can clearly see the difference in how they affect the surface. Additionally, we can apply a roughness map, which works through the gloss channel. The moment I apply it, the object turns dull. Since it's a roughness map applied to gloss, I'll double-click to invert it, and we see a very little reflection on it. Now you see subtle reflections, a mix of environment lighting and local object reflection that can be controlled as needed. This creates a balanced blend of reflection and diffraction, giving a realistic finish with a detailed reflection map. To better showcase the effect of glossiness, I'll apply a black and white material to the gloss map. Notice how certain areas appear patchy. If I double-click and invert it, the reflections shift to different areas. Applying this on a cube makes the effect even clearer, as you can see how reflections vary across the patches. Removing or inverting the material highlights the difference, giving you a clearer idea of how glossiness impacts reflections. Now, let's move on to the copper texture. I'll start by adding it and replacing each map. The albedo goes into the diffuse layer, the ambient occlusion is set using the height map with reduced opacity, and then I'll apply the normal map. That's it. You can immediately see the difference in the reflections. If I invert the reflection map, notice how the gray areas give a mixed reflection, while the pure white areas show no reflection at all. This clearly shows how reflections respond to different texture values. And this is how we work with PBR textures in Wasp3D, applying different texture maps like albedo, ambient occlusion, normal, roughness or gloss, and combining them with environment reflections. This process helps you achieve realistic material finishes and lighting interactions across your objects. And that's it. Thanks for watching and keep designing smarter with Wasp3D.